Listening to politicians talk about the Taroom Trough and the oil reserves there reminds me of every so often, and Bob Katter continually talking about the Bradfield scheme. Now, ultimately, it sounds great. It really does. Getting water from where there's a lot of water to places where there's none. But when you look, like anything is possible, it just depends on the cost. And when you look at the engineering that needs to happen, it's not easy. It's not easy. By the time the water gets to where it needs to go, what is the cost of it per meg? Is it viable? Is the wider Australian public willing to fund it? And once the water gets there, it then costs massive amounts of money for storage and distribution, which will all be on private properties. So is the general public willing to fund those private ventures? Because a lot of those private people will not be able to afford it. And I'll tell you what will happen in the case of the Bradfield scheme. What would happen is all of a sudden a property that might be worth, let's say $10 million, big property. But all of a sudden the potential for that property goes up. The owners of the property may well not be able to afford the massive sum of money for storage and distribution. So they will bank on that potential. It's a payday. They will put that block up for sale and someone will buy it. It will be bought for a massively inflated sum because of the potential. It could be $30 million. Who's got that sort of money? Big corporations, overseas buyers, that sort of thing. Thus, it's not about whether water gets there. It's not a matter of what we can grow and produce. It's a matter of what is the cost to do so. Is it viable? Getting a great job somewhere is no good if it costs you more to get there. You're losing every time you go to work. That's the same with that. So where am I going with this? Let's get back to the Taroom Trough. What they've done is we have an anxiety, right? Anxiety is our fuel reserves, our fuel supply, our fuel security. And certain politicians have put their hand up and said, the Taroom Trough, it's going to save us and everything like that. We're going to have people fracking, which has its own problems with issues with the Great Artesian Basin and all that sort of thing, any number of things. But we're also going to give government land and they're going to build refineries up and down the coast. Who's going to do it? We see even with the trough and exploration, people starting in the private sector pull back a little bit, going, hang on, maybe it's not as good as we think. And everyone's getting excited. But the big question, no one will answer. And my mate Dane on the Frackman project has asked this question. The same as I asked with the Bradfield. With the Bradfield, how much is a megalitre of water going to cost delivered? With the Taroom Trough, what is the cost of fuel? Is it going to be $1.50, $2.50, $3.50, $5? Before we get that figure, whether or not we go ahead with the Taroom Trough, whether it's the solution to our problems, cannot be truthfully assessed. So just as I did with the Bradfield scheme, I'm doing this with the Taroom Trough. All the big noters, the Dale Last, the Bryson Head, and the David Chrysopoulos, in their high vis, waving a little bottle of oil. Tell me, answer me one simple question. What is the cost? When I fill my vehicle up, considering I'm still using the internal combustion engine, how much is it going to cost if it's Taroom Trough oil? Just answer me that question. If you don't, you will always have a critic. If you do, you could well have a supporter. It's as simple as that.